Do you ever find yourself stumped on a Wordle puzzle and then you end up kicking yourself when you finally get the Wordle solution because you missed the very obvious Wordle strategy? We've identified 5 Wordle stumbling blocks, and once you know what they are, you won't be stumped by these Wordle puzzlers. Hey guys, I'm Mary Schaefer, here with another Wordle video focusing on 5 common Wordle stumbling blocks. I call this one the Wordle Don't Forgets. Okay, so with that, let's dive right in. And Wordle, don't forget number 1, if you will, are words with double letters, and not necessarily double letters that are next to each other. Some recent examples include motto, elope, madam. And you can see, especially with elope, I found that one particularly difficult, where the double letter was the first and the last letter. Then you have motto with the 2 T's next to each other. As a side note of interest for those who are interested in those things, madam is also a palindrome, which is the word is spelled the same forwards and backwards. Just a little piece of trivia, which probably most of you got. Okay, don't forget number 2, or oversight number 2. The solutions are never plurals. Okay, we know that. But that does not mean that the solution can't end in an S. If the solution does end in an S, it means that it normally ends that way, not that it's a plural. And so my favorite examples are glass and class. Okay, moving on to oversight number 3. I call this the Q issue. Q is a rarely used letter. And so unless you have identified U, the letter U, as being part of your solution, then don't waste guesses on Qs. So while you might be tempted to use things like quiet, and quite because they have a lot of vowels in them, don't use it because you're wasting the Q space most of the time. Okay, occasionally it will be the right solution, but not now. Now, before we get to the last 2, if you like this episode, please give us a thumbs up. And if you loved it, please subscribe. We produce new content for the channel 3 times a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays are devoted to payments and accounts payable issues, and Saturday are reserved for my new love, Wordle. Okay, oversight number 4. Don't forget that responses won't repeat. So if you're thinking about a word, but it was a solution yesterday or the day before or a month ago, it probably won't be the answer today. Now, of course, the problem with this is, can you remember what all the recent words were? And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I probably can't, but that's another story. Hopefully I can remember at least yesterday and the day before. Okay, and oversight number 5, don't forget that words can start with vowels. Some recent examples: elope, which I found very difficult, egret, and awful. And yes, I thought awful was an awful word, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. Okay, so vowels are another tricky issue when playing Wordle. Should you start a word with two vowels, 3 vowels, or 4 vowels? We recently did a video on that very issue. You can watch it now using the links that will appear momentarily on YouTube and are shown below in the show notes. As always, we appreciate your thumbs up, your shares, your comments, and your subscribes. Good luck and happy wordling.